Hello everybody and welcome to my brand new video about the Blade 180 CFX. Wow, the new 3D helicopter by Blade Helicopters. It's available since a few days and I picked mine up some days ago at Faszination Modellbau in Friedrichshafen, and I want to share my thoughts about this helicopter in this little video with you. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's in the box and what kind of setup do I use. Afterwards I will show you some in-flight footage from the Maiden flight and also some more advanced flights where I was outside with some twitches and things that I've done to make it a little more 3D. And yeah, that's basically what the video is going to be about. First of all, I'll pick off the canopy from the helicopter so I can show you a little bit better what's inside. A little trick, I already detached the canopy, otherwise I wouldn't have got it off for the video that quick. So, a few things to notice first. I prefer to use Gensei's 450 batteries. I've had some very great moments with them and they are very reliable. I like to fly them, not in my big machines only, so I bought one for the 180 CFX too. So, enough battery talk. What's in with the Blade 180 CFX? We have here a brushless outrunner motor, which you can see here under my thumb. Then we have a Castle Creations Talon 15 electric speed controller, which sits under here. You can maybe see the wires here. The Blade 180 CFX comes with a pre-installed governor, so if you adjust the values in your radio, like in the manual, you have the governor already installed for something like 4,800 to 5,000 RPMs, which is enough of power for this little machine. Another thing, because the 180 CFX is the better 130, so to speak, it has rotary servos in here. They are closed, so there is no dirt getting into the servos and causing some failures like on the 130. Another big thing, the servo geometry. Can't see it pretty good here, but you have, like on the 300 CFX and the 700X, you have the optimized servo geometry also on this little beauty here. Another important thing compared to the 130 is the tail servo. So in here you've got a pretty big one, which is, if I remember it correctly, it's the same servo as used in the Blade 450X. So you have a 450 servo used in this 180 little thingy here. Next thing, to bind the helicopter, you don't have to use the flashlights and the bling blings like on the 130 and all the micro helicopters. You can just put a bind plug in here and do a standard binding procedure like on every other receiver, you know. One last thing to mention, or two things. The tail boom is a real tail boom. It's not a carbon fiber brick, so to speak, with a flat torque tube in it. It's a real tail boom with gears in it. 3 parts, I guess they should be here, and here. The bearings. And one very big advantage is the new tail. Unfortunately, the focus of my camera isn't working that much, but you have very beefy gears for your tail drive, and you also have very durable materials here. So it's not just the standard plastic used by Blade like on the 130. You have really high valued parts, at least for how good I can say that. But I'm pretty happy with the 180 CFX. Having 20 flights or so, and it's not exploding midair. It's still working very great. Some things I just want to show you in my transmitter. Some setup thing needs to be in the video too. I use a DX7S by Spectrum flying in mode 3. So if you have the 180 here, unfortunately, no, it's not going to work well. I had big problems with my pitch values, but I'm going to express that later when you see the flights. One very important thing I added is expo on nick and roll, so on the swash plate, because without the heli was like a bumblebee flying from left to right, and with every single touch of here on the sticks. Stick is the word I was looking for. With every single touch of the sticks, yeah, the heli just went riot. I also have decreased the gyro chain a little bit. Only just a little, just for my comforts. Don't know why, but it feels a little better. Flight time is like 3 minutes 30. And yeah, idle lap curve, of course, 100%. And the pitch I'm going to talk later, but now we're going to switch into the maiden flight. And afterwards we'll switch into the more advanced flight, and I will comment that a little bit, so you have a good overview of the helicopter in the flights and also in the wind itself.
Baby.
So everybody, welcome to the maiden flight of my Blade 180 CFX. You will see that I was very uncautious to get it up in the air, and I almost overdid it there. We're also going into the high head speed already, and as you can see, there's plenty of power in this little beauty. You also see a little bit of tail wag, which I managed to decrease over time, and that was the first flight without expo in it, so it was very shaky and very direct on the swash plate. So with every stick, not only movement but just touch, when it moves, the heli went like a bumblebee, as I said before. And one problem I had was that the swash plate wasn't centered correctly, so if I had something like maximum positive pitch, I was about 19 degrees. Knowing this, I adjusted the pitch gauge on the nipples from the main blades. I know it's not the best and precise way to do it, but it somehow gives me an idea. You can see that I'm lacking negative power here in that little flip, because the negative was just way too low. Here it happens again, and I almost crashed it, because on the negative side I had somewhat like 10 degrees positive, there was 19, so there was a very bad balance between these two ones. Here I'm lowering the RPM and the head speed a little bit, just to see how it reacts. And to be honest, it's very gentle, very smooth. One thing that makes me quite happy is the pyro compensation which it has. So if you do a pirouette, or yeah, that was a little close there. If you do a pirouette, it tries to hold the helicopter in a stable position, which is very good. And it was a big improvement to the 130X, which doesn't have that. And if you see that turning rate, no comparison to the 130X. So enough of the maiden flight and all of the hoverings. We're into a little more advanced flight here, which is a flight from today. Unfortunately, the little thing is very quick and a little bit hard for the camera to follow. I apologize for that. But as you can see here, the Blade 180 CFX is 3D capable. I'm not flying as good as James Haley in the product videos or as the pros on the internet, but you can see there are some slight 3D maneuvers which you can do with it, and yeah, if I can do it, you can do it too. Here and there you may see that it has some small tail wag, especially on the faster pumps. Here on the next one, listen to the head speed and the drop. You could hear the head speed go up just for a little, and the governor from the Talon 15 kicks in just perfectly and smoothens out everything. So there is a little overspeed here and there, but the governor works very good, and there are no complaints about this. The next sequence is just a little bit of 3D flying. Great camera work, thanks to my brother Thomas, who is also flying 3D helicopters. Check out his channel. You can see here also TikToks are possible with the 180 CFX without losing the tail and without the tail spinning all the way from left to right, as you were used to have it from the 130. The next sequence here shows us a start and some slower flights with the 25% idle curve. lower head speeds, and some just smooth hoverings and flybys and some passes, normal, inverted, just for the beauty of the video, because the rest was just a little bit fast and 3D. And here you can see that also with the lower head speeds it just flies smooth, it goes straight in the air, it flies basically like on rails. Here we have a little hover in the falling sun, because right now when I'm editing the video, it's 5:20, the sun is away, so the last sunbeams onto this helicopter. It looks really great. And here, that was my 4th flight of the day. There's just some 3D to round up the video. You can see, maybe if you have a good and fast eye, that the tail wag is starting to increase a little bit. I have to keep an eye on that, because I have the feeling that the tail wags on the pitch pumps have increased over the flights that I've done. So currently I'm in 25 flights, I guess. 25, 26, somewhat. But I have to keep an eye on that. And that is one thing right now that shows the power of the 180. You can hear the kids in the background going, whoa! You can see, I mean, okay, I admit it was full pitch. One time again. You can see it's pretty fast and it goes almost straight up into the sky. In the background you hear me talking with the neighbor guys and the kids. They, almost every time when I'm out there going for the helicopter, they're with me. So now, after 3 minutes and 30 seconds, the battery is empty. So now you also know some flight times, and I have to say the 3 minute 30 are realistic in that flight style with some 3D and some flybys. You can go for that time. Here you can see the tail wag a little increase, but you can see it was a little windy too today. And very hard to land on that small spot so that the grass doesn't cut my heli off. But that's all I have to tell you about the 180 CFX for now. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time around. Take care. Bye bye.